Welcome, welcome. Sports now in the Caribbean. It's a special edition today because, and Chris, we also have a rising cricket from Guyana, Mr. Hoppie, who professional analysis.
Semi-professional analysis.
CPL games as a whole, and of course, the finals coming tomorrow, Providence. So, welcome all. So, first topic we do today of first CPL playoff, which took place Wednesday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Guyana Amazon and the Night Riders. Yeah. So, maybe what was the first thing tell me what you were thinking going in? What y'all thought of that?
Honestly, I thought that. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, well, I saw Trinidad training the day before at Everest, and they look so focused. They look like a fine-tuned unit, you know? They were moving in sync, they were one. So I knew Guyana was in trouble. I was like, whoa, we really can't. I didn't want to say we couldn't beat them. But how they look, you had to be scared, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chris.
Yeah, for me, I thought if we had won the toss, I felt like we could have actually put up more of a fight. Like my thoughts going into it was that whoever won the toss had the advantage. But once we lost the toss isn't something you could control. I thought that if we could get a score over maybe like 175, maybe that was defendable. And I think we were a bit too passive in the power play, especially Odin, given his new role. I thought he would have come in and tried to look for the big shots, but I thought he just played a bit too passive, and that ended up costing us majorly.
Going into the game, how I looked at it was that we played PKR, and the second game actually was for me because in that game
they didn't play the
dropped 3 or 4 times in the game, and the game,
close
down to the back end. So I was thinking, which then I'm assuming that was just an off. That it would give us a lot of trouble, and we lost us twice before. Didn't expect that we would, Pollard, all his antics, best thinking captain in the Caribbean game and
in the world.
So I would have expected, but on paper, probably as a team, like man for man, and the better cricket going into that.
Don't forget they didn't play Sunan, right? And they didn't play Gupta, both due to injuries. So that wasn't even a full team.
Yeah.
It's right.
I think the bright side we can look at is that we did beat their full team earlier in the season, but however that was in Trinidad on a different pitch. But I think we do have the quality to, like, if we play our best cricket, I think we have the quality to get it done.
But you think if Trinidad play their best cricket and we play our best cricket on the same night, you think
that's the thing though. That's the thing. When you play cricket, I don't think both sides can play their best cricket, because if one side plays their best cricket, they more than likely hold the other side to not playing their best, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. If we play our best, if we go out and we play our game, if we can play our game, then it's basically a 50-50 chance right now, in my opinion.
Question for the let's rewind a bit to time which played, because they had the full strength team. The second time, starting team, injury, so on. But we played our whole team. Paul, who was
injured,
our us, especially early on, got injured. So the decision on our part, or for us to keep the momentum going.
Honestly, I think what we did, right? I think what we did, we respected the matchup in terms of, listen, this is a big game. This is the best rivalry in the region. Let's go out and give the fans what they need. Let's play our best players. But TKR, they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it as, listen, we already qualified. Let's just play an 11 that, allows us to rest our best players.
Well,
so, and I think that ended up costing us because, like you said, Kimo got injured. And it was a game where, it actually shook us a bit because it ended up being a very close game, as you said.
Well, to me, that it was a very poor decision to play our full strength team. As you said, you have to consider the fans, right? But at the end of the day, we have to consider the team, and we're looking to win, right?
Yeah.
So everybody,
I agree. If I think we should have probably rested our players. Like, we understand the matchup, we understand the fans and all that, but we want the trophy more than entertainment at this point, I think.
And expect somebody like Kimo. Kimo has a very long injury list. Kimo is injury prone. You know this, right? So somebody like Kimo shouldn't play unless he has to. They have to start. Remember how they used to treat Gale when he get old? Like when he was around 9-5?
Yeah.
We have to treat Kimo the exact same. We cannot put Kimo on extra workload. Because if you notice, Kimo hasn't been bowling for this entire tournament. And I don't think it's because we don't need him to bowl.
2 overs a game, and so
Yeah, I think he has to manage his workload.
Yeah.
As for his injuries, because most of his injuries came in the field or bowling. You don't really get injuries while batting, right?
Yeah.
Now we should have dropped Kimo and bring Stuart Beaton in, right?
Yeah.
And then we should have dropped
Joseph.
No, Joseph wasn't in the squad as yet. Joseph came in as a replacement for Kimo.
I actually thought he was in the squad and then he got called up to replace.
Joseph was just net bowling. He was just net bowling.
Okay, that's cool.
And I would have thought he would have dropped somebody like Azam and bring in, and let Shy Hope keep and maybe get Nandu and give Kevlan a knock,
Yeah.
I was actually so and not in that game. He had played reasonably well. Then he subsequently he did not get a run after range.
I think
circumstances.
I think because Nandu could bat. We all know Nandu could bat, but I think the issue was his strike rate.
Yeah,
it wasn't against Jamaica. It was the match after Jamaica. Who they play?
St. Lucia.
And he had like a 50 strike rate or something like that. He was batting slow, and then he got out. It's no problem starting batting slow, but if you start slow, you have to catch up in the end. But if it starts slow and you're out, you waste about 20 balls there,
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
So I think that they went safe rather than sorry. With Nandu. And I feel that's hard because I think you have to put faith in the younger guys,
Yeah.
One issue I didn't like
game. Chris.
No, like one issue I was thinking about, right? We're going into the playoffs and we don't have our set openers. Like we know Ayub is going to open, but when you go into the postseason, I believe that you should have your opening pair set. And we've actually been taking some of the playoff games to actually experiment with openers. And I think that is a big disadvantage going into the final now. For me, I would still go with Kevlan Anderson because as we saw in the first playoff game, we saw that Odin was still wasting a lot of the balls. And Kevlan came in, he hit a boundary, and I think the most he wasted was like about 5 balls.
But
I'd say let's just put our faith in him, and or maybe we could just put Shea Hope to open.
the thing about Shea Hope batting number 3 is that if the opening batsman out in the first over is Shea Hope basically opening anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you should just probably move into the opener slot. And who you suggest bat number 3? Azam, Hetmeyer, or bringing Kevlar to bat number 3?
I mean, you could either. For me, I would love to see Hetmeyer bat more deliveries. But given his form as of late, maybe I would just back Azam to come in or Anderson.
Because match failed us. Her match failed us, Zai failed us opening. So we really strapped for openers. But me personally, I would just leave Odin at the top. You never know. Because if Odin catch stride, he probably gonna be a game winning knock. If he be real.
Are we willing to take that gamble for the final though? The biggest game of the tournament? Would you still take that gamble?
I would take the gamble.
Interesting.
Shepherd could bat, but I
don't know if we want to go with a brand new opener for this game.
Yeah, that's another thing.
A completely brand new opener.
I don't think Shepherd ever opened in T20 before, so that would be like a big change.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't think you want Shepherd batting the new ball while it's moving. Maybe if you also bring Shepherd after the power play, I would agree. But that's a big risk as well in a final, you know? Because if you go fail, kind of, you know.
But honestly, guys, I actually like the idea of Shea opening to like face the maximum amount of deliveries he can and get himself going as early as possible. And I do know that we risk losing an opener early, and he comes in and he basically bats as an opener anyway, so to speak, right? But if we just give him the chance at the top, and just see where it goes, I don't think that would be much of a risk.
But first option to in the event or does not capitalize as opposed to if you put Shea in early, then we would need players who have not been consistent to perform, which is maximum. I do believe that players who have and to win this final, they definitely need step up. But going back to the playoff game, and did anyone chat on an 80 against Ghana?
Listen to
me. Joseph was so he was let down in the field.
Yeah, about 3 drops.
I think it was like four or five drops I counted. I'm not sure if all of them were for Walton, but it was a lot of drop catches, man. And granted, some were very difficult chances.
They were high difficulty catches, but at that level,
we have been so good in the field, and at this level, I think you should make them.
Okay. Listen to me, guys. Let me be honest with ourselves. What was the last time you asked tragic Walton make runs?
A long time ago.
It seems every year when it comes to the clutch stages, somebody just come out to the blue that don't be informed or that wasn't even in the tournament last year's make runs against Guyana.
Do you think he even gets the start for the final?
Well, if Martin Guptill fit, you're gonna have to drop Dial because you cannot drop Walton.
You can't drop the person that basically informed, right?
Yeah, Dial and get the drop, and Guptill and Walton gonna open.
I think the key for the final would be to get Guptill and Puran out as early as possible. Even if Pollard and Russell come in, I don't trust them to stay for the majority of the deliveries. They would come in, hit a few big knocks, but I don't trust them to stay for a long period in the inning. So I think the key for us is getting Guptill and Puran out early.
No, well, for me is when we gonna if Pollard and Russell come in after the 15th over, Do you take that as a win, or you want them as early as possible? Because remember, I think
the
KC
50 in the 15th over, that's their bread and butter really, because they can just go out there and swing without any repercussions. So if they take that long to come in, if they come in at the backstage of the innings like that, I think that's maybe a big loss for us. Unless TKR at that stage is like at a very low score, that may be a big blow for us, to be honest, if they come in that late.
Well,
I would rather see them early and get them out as early as possible.
Well,
yeah, I feel like
then
yeah, speak.
there's no flat pitches, but I noticed we had some. But I would say if it's a pitch, then it would be the man that you nightly need to get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
the pitch offering Bob Russell and Pollard would be very dangerous. Because Russell with the ball,
Yeah.
this tournament, and essentially at this stage of his career, so he would. But go ahead,
Yeah, what I was saying was, in order for us to get Pooran, well, most of the time, you don't out Pooran. Pooran is out himself. He's usually just hit the ball in the field. And if you're going to be honest with ourselves, you don't be deceived or anything of the sort. I feel like to out Pooran, you have to have your field setting has to be on point. Because once Pooran in, there's no way to get him out. And we need to bowl our bowlers team. Last match, the whole Moti, how long the whole Moti back?
Exactly. I know there's that matchup with left-handed spinners and left-handed batsmen, but at this point now, you just need to play your best bowlers.
I feel like we're feeding it into it too much. Which Pooran probably strike around 250 against left-hand spin. We acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, but you need to play your best bowlers, especially one of the best bowlers in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. For me, as Pooran come to the crease, Moti has to bowl. Once it's not in the power play. Once out to the power play, bring Moti on. If it's in the power play, you can't set the field good enough. You need about 4 fielders up. But once it's outside the power play, bring Moti to Pooran at least one over and see what happens. See how he plays him,
Yeah.
Especially the pitch offering spin, we're gonna do that. Should do that, but I don't know what's the thought process in the Guyana camp right now.
So how y'all find captaincy? Because we were just talking about field placement, about in Sinclair, not as a fielder, Bakhmut, and these types of stuff.
I think the in-game decisions themselves, they aren't too bad. But I think the management and leading up to the game, like the team selection, and I think that includes the coaches as well.
Well, no, guys.
I think that's probably been a bit poor.
Well, you have to remember the reason they were playing Junior Sinclair as a field is because if you play under 23, you can play 5 overseas players.
Okay.
Yeah, so when Zai was in, there was 5 overseas players, so they had to play junior, but necessarily didn't have a role for him. It was either junior and Nandu. So I guess this is what happened. But
Junior has been electric in the field, though. I do like what we did last game. We subbed Azam Khan, we had Shea keep, and then we had Junior in the field.
That was the right decision for me as well.
Yeah, that was a great decision for me.
Tayek captaincy to me has been good, but as I said, only the way when he bowls his bowlers is only the issue for me, because he had the other match against St. Lucia, we lose against St. Lucia in Guyana. I think it was like the 12th over or the 32 over. Moti had 2 overs left, and Odin had 2 overs left, and he gave Odin the ball. To me, Moti should have had the ball then as well. But I
feel like he was just trying things out in that game, trying to iron out some kinks. Because losing that game didn't really mean a lot for us.
But losing the Trinidad game didn't mean a lot for us either. But look.
Exactly. But you see, I think we looked at, like I said before, he looked at the matchup. He looked at the rivalry and all of that. And let's be honest, Trinidad didn't really care about all of that. They have their eyes on the prize. Well, on a bigger prize, that is.
I think from here we second off, which
Mm-hmm.
is nice. Providence Stadium, the Warriors, and and it because initially we seemed limited in the power after 10
I
overs.
think it was about 50. I think
7
after 10 overs, I think it was 7
10.
to 9.
Yeah, 7-9 after 10 over.
Mm-hmm.
After 10, and then it wanted for 6
Mm-hmm.
to overs. So talk about the power play, feel about the power play. That was more our bat being intensive, or was that just the showing you how effective they were?
Nah,
Go ahead.
I think that we batted a bit too safe because after the power play it was 79 for 2 or 79 for 1.
After the power play, I think the score was 50 after the 6. But after the 10, I think it was 7 to 9.
I felt like Jamaica was bowling well, but what did well for us was that Chris Green bowled his 4 straight. Chris Green was done before the 10 overs.
Yeah.
Mohamed Abir bowled 2 and they saved him 2 for the dead. So we had the less experienced bowlers after the 10th over. So
And they didn't bowl Fabian at all.
yeah, they didn't bowl
which
Fabian.
I found was weird.
I don't know what's Fabian's role in the team at this current time, but
Fabian did extremely well in that first playoff game for Jamaica against the Kings, though. So not seeing him bowl, that was surprising for me.
Maybe they bowl him to the conditions. If the pitch is turning, then he bowls. If the pitch is not turning, they don't bowl him. This way it looks like
the pitch was offering a bit more bounce in the
Yeah, it was the same pitch that we used for qualifier 1. So that pitch definitely had more bounce.
Yeah, the Shea Hope and the Het my review both go over the top of the stumps. You're right.
Yeah.
If they use the first pre in Guyana, it probably would have been crashing into both times.
Yeah.
But going back to yeah, go ahead.
But the highest score of the tournament was scored here in that pre-playoff match, or was it a playoff match? Maybe 100
against
yeah.
I think that was the first.
That was before the playoffs. That was the game before the playoffs. I can't remember. I think it was the Sunday. That was the game on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday morning. It was like 10 a.m.
Yeah. Higher than 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then on the same pitch and look really suspect. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's the pitch. I think it's the team batting quality, because I can't see how a guy could score 100 that quick and the next team go and get bowled for much, get bowled 70 something. Yeah, I don't know. I think just poor batting.
That's true. I mean, if you batting lineup, we had Ayu okay, and I believe the punch that he got out was actually, but he ended up going for 20 from 15. He had Kevin went for 4. He had a 40 from 3. However, before about Shim Het Maya head, so this game it is in his third one front line. Do you think it's the preventing us rapidly the game how we played?
I guess you could look at it either way, depending on. But given how Azam performed, right, you could probably look at it in a positive way that he stabilized the middle phase. But if Azam didn't have that kind of knock, we were looking terrible. And Hetty's supposed to be one of our big hitters, if you think about it. And I felt like he was a bit too passive. I felt like he wasn't making the right contact with the ball a lot of the times, and he got dropped as well.
Yeah, yep.
For me, this innings 31 from 29 was a bit too slow. I would like him striking around 130.
Yeah.
But as you said, Azam made up for him on the other end. But another night, Hetty goes 31 from 29, and then tears in the next 10 bars, you get about 20 runs and you get 50 from 35. When we go, oh, good innings for Hetmeyer. You know? So I felt like when he
but
got
that
out,
has not been a recent case. That if you told me that after like the first two games, I'd be in full agreement. But as of late, that has not been the case.
well, I don't know what to say. I can't keep defending Hetmeyer. You know, Hetmeyer gives us.
Believe me, I understand how it feels because I also want to see Hetty do well, but I need to see more commitment from him and better decision making.
Hetmeyer gives us 2 good innings a season, and then for the rest of the season, gone haywire. For the last 4 seasons, he did this to us. But and somehow he always manages to finish in the top 10 scorers list. I don't know how.
Because he starts really well.
Really good. But what you
but
think?
It's not really about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I think that's been like the case with our batting order throughout the entire season, because if you look at it, we haven't really capitalized on the power play a lot. But coming down the end of the innings, we've been superb. Like Azam last night, and then which brings me to my other point. How do you feel about the somewhat controversial decision that the umpire gave out?
What, the catch off Azam?
Yeah.
Well,
the keeper.
Watching it last night, Omar, and I thought that it hit the ground. To be honest,
that's what I'm looking at, right? Like, I understand if it bounced on the glove finger, right?
Yeah.
And into the keeper's hand. The glove is a part of the keeper's hand, right?
Yeah, that's
from that, I'd understand if you give out. However, from that angle, I don't think it's conclusive as to whether it hit the finger of the glove or the ground itself.
So
I would have liked to see another angle. Maybe the league can implement different angles in the future.
Well,
but if the umpire, I thought from that angle it wasn't conclusive. Yeah, go ahead.
If the umpire gave it out, right?
I'm really not sure.
I think initially the umpire gave out, and in order for them to say not out, they will have to find conclusive evidence that it did hit the ground. So if they did not find that, it will have to stay out. But for me, the way the ball reacted, I don't think it could hit the fingers of the glove and pop up like that. Yeah, but it looked like it's a hard surface and came right back up at a sharp angle. That's just me. Maybe I might be biased because I'm a Guyana fan. You never know, but that's just how I saw it.
I think given the edge, maybe it could like bounce on. Remember, the keeper's hand won't fully fit through the entire glove, so there's bound to be some free space at the end of the glove. So maybe because it was on there, it could bounce onto the glove and into the grasp of the keeper himself. But
in this circumstance, do you think that Brooks would have been aware he was the most?
No,
because for example, Pura get you think that
yeah, he sells it
in here. But yeah, if the third umpire, who would have had the best view out of everyone? Conclusion that there's no definitive evidence to say that it's the over decision, then that's fair. But I think in general, not the third umpire, in general was a bit bad because you had two.
Let's be real.
I won't lie to y'all, right? When I first saw like the first two decisions, I was like, yep, they're trying to rob us. But then going on to the game and I saw the bad decisions in the second innings as well, I was like, okay, It's just tough umpiring right now.
I think the quality of umpiring for this entire tournament has been poor for me.
Yeah.
And especially Nigel Dugan.
Not out Nigel.
Not out Nigel from Guyana. Why it had to be a Guyanese umpire? He was umpiring terrible this tournament. I don't know. And he is an ICC certified umpire.
Yeah, I was just saying international
matches. And it's such poor decisions. I don't understand it.
You know,
anyway, that's what we have technology for, right?
True, but additional. Well, let's go to the bowling of
Guyana.
The name of Ransford Beaton, who played much cricket years due to his action being called.
Okay.
And all the his performance. Now, his stats, he went for 5 runs and even though he bowled, he went for 5 runs in a like spell. I believe he had 1 hit from at 5. How do y'all feel about it?
Ransford Beaton. Let's not forget where Ransford Beaton was when he got banned. Ransford Beaton was playing international cricket for the West Indies, opening bowling. Don't forget that. Ransford Beaton was the premier fast bowler for Guyana in the regional 40 and the regional Super 50 competition. And he was basically leading Trinidad pace attack. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
Ransford Beaton been there and did it and done it all. Ransford Beaton recently made his way back into the Guyana regional 40 set up earlier this year, and he was bowling well. He was bowling fast, he was bowling accurate, he was getting the ball to swing. So when I saw Ransford Beaton getting bought by Guyana this year, I was happy. I thought he would get a chance early in the tournament. But it so happened that Pretorius and Shepherd bowled so well that he wasn't getting a chance in the team. Right? Now the other night they bring him and Shamar Joseph in and both of them get tapped. Right? And now people might ask for this match, why did they go with Beaton in front of Shamar Joseph? Simply experience. That's literally the only reason they went, because both of them both bad. And I believe that Beaton could find his way back into the West Indies, but the only issue is that he didn't play enough matches for me, and it has a T20 World Cup next year,
which we're hosting.
Yeah, which we are hosting along with the US. And but the World Cup is before CPL. So where will Ransford Beaton be able to display T20 skills again for the West Indies selectors to even give him a chance?
If he performed well, it would have been very hard for him, I think, to get into the T20 side, don't you think?
No, I think, because remember, I feel like a guy like
with the likes of Shepherd, Alzari, these guys, maybe even Chemo, if Chemo didn't get injured.
No, I don't mean
Obed has been kind of, he hasn't been back to form as yet. Hopefully that changes soon, because I do need him in that T20 side.
Jason Obed McCoy had like really high run rates this season. I think Jason was going 10 over this tournament. Obed going about 12. So who are we to say that maybe, I won't say Ransford didn't get into the World Cup squad, maybe West Indies touring Ireland to go and play in T20 series. They say, Beaton looking good. Let's send him just for this Ireland tour. Let's rest Jason and Obed, something like that. That's what I'm saying. But as for Ransford Beaton last night, great, he bowled well for me. As I said, he bowled a couple extras, but there's our prior to the game.
I think the extras, though, Stuart, if you look at it, especially for the first over, I think he was just trying to bait the batsman to get that edge for the card.
He was bowling
I think that come from I think that come from playing 4-day.
Yeah,
and I think he has to probably change his thinking too. We ain't necessarily looking for wickets, but we're just looking for dot bars. Because dot bars is bring wickets in T20. So I guess this is what happened there. But yeah, as you're saying, Ron.
For a 4-day test cricket he was just missing slightly. That's why but there, I think we could go to now exceptional ball play. That's one thing we can say. Games which we did when we penetrated the other teams through to Pretorius, as well as Shepherd. So all rate is in the game. Pretorius had 221 and over, and he was and the match award and 2 over 15 7. So how would the Sixers did?
All right, for this game or for the season?
Do this game and then for the season.
Well, obviously, look at his stats. Both of them bowled well. Look, we bowled on a team for 101. It's really hard for anybody to bowl bad when you do that. You know?
Exactly.
Don't worry.
True.
Right after this, so. Yeah.
But for the season, for me, Shepherd has. For the season, Shepherd has for me this was Shepherd's comeback season.
Yeah.
He's doing everything well. He's feeling well. He's bowling well, and he's batting well. For me, he's a sure pick for the World Cup next year. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, definitely. Especially given his current form with the West Indies side. I think he was one of our best performers during the India tour. So I think he's a lock for the World Cup side.
And Shepherd has the most wickets in the power play this season.
And also he may be one of the best finishers in the world right now, like Shepherd? The way with the bats. Yeah.
With the bat?
In terms of the bats, the back end of the innings, I think his finishing has been extremely underrated.
Yes, definitely. But when he plays for West Indies, he bats about number 9 and 10.
He bats way down in the innings. Yeah.
To me, it's very disrespectful because I know Shepherd can actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody knows this.
The interesting because of how low he bats and how he makes and late left over 40 at the international level.
Yeah, you're gonna have high averages and high strike rates.
Yep. Well, we know if retired exceptionally well and probably bowled the ball the tournament. I can't remember who he got out, but it was wrong enough to leave. And so it was at that speechless after a year we can like in terms of his economy rate and so on, but in the Guyana leg pitch maybe could be in fine his length and getting more as in exceptional here as
I think it was only for like the first 3 or 4 games I saw Tahir not playing up to standard. I think generally in the field he hasn't been at his best, but that's expected given his age. But I think after like the first 4 games, he's been back to form with his bowling. And even more exceptionally when he came to Guyana.
For me, at the early in the tournament, I felt like Tahir was trying too much different things. And that was his downfall there. But as I said, Tahir is an experienced campaigner. And Tahir figured out what he had to do and he got it. So this is good. This is great for Tahir. Hopefully he retains the form for the finals. But I feel like Tahir, they're gonna probably bat Tahir out in the finals. If we're gonna be honest, allow him to get 20 both 4 for 20 runs and then they're gonna attack the rest. Odin will probably get attacked or runs are beaten, they're gonna go after. Moti gonna definitely go after that, and I think they're gonna allow Shepherd, Pretorius, and Tahir.
Especially if Puran
if
they bowl Moti to Puran will definitely be like in that matchup, I think.
But I think Moti likes the matchup as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a way in which we can get Puran out.
Matchup is that he is a bowler that in art for him to get the wicket. Like he's best when that's when he's best. But
I agree.
Has not been good yet. He did not bowl well Like either he had, which
Well,
he
didn't
did
really
get the wicket of Allen. That's a positive.
Yeah.
We can look at.
right now we basically playing Odin as an opening batsman. If you told me before this tournament that Odin Smith would be opening batting for us and bowling at over a 2, I would have laughed in your face, huh? So if we will be honest with ourselves, we just finding a way to keep Odin in this team. Odin should have been dropped a long time ago.
That's what I'm looking at. If we go with Anderson as an opener, right? Let's just say we do that for the finals again. Where does Odin fit in? Because he isn't bowling well. Are you just hoping that maybe at the end of the innings he can come and maybe hit a few balls, maybe give us a few boundaries at the end of the innings?
Well, if
which we know he's capable of, but he hasn't found form this season.
If Chemo is fit for the finals, Odin comes out and Chemo comes in for me. But if Chemo isn't fit, you almost just have to leave Odin in there because the next option is Shamar Joseph or maybe Junior Sinclair. But Junior Sinclair won't bowl. We just play him as a feeler.
Yeah.
Question, right? I agree with you 100%. Short bat being dropped 6-7 matches ago. I think he should someone like Kevin Sinclair who will be able to do the bat and also 10 balls, and he's also excellent and probably significantly better in the field than Odin Smith. Do you think that's a change?
Well, as you guys know, Kevin Sinclair left the camp.
But for personal reasons.
Early in the tournament, we all know Kevin. Well, I know Kevin Sinclair could bat, right? And I felt as if we could have brought in Sinclair to bowl the new ball. And Sinclair doesn't necessarily have to bowl 4 overs. We could give him 2 overs. Well, somebody come out there?
No.
Oh, yeah. Sinclair we could have brought in Kevin Sinclair to bowl the new ball, bowl over number 1 and over number 3. And then maybe he feels he rests and bat at number 6, number 7. So I had no issue with Kevin Sinclair playing early tournament. But what I felt happened was, remember Guyana had a match rained out. I think Sinclair was going to start that match actually. And maybe they rethink the plan after the rain fell. But yeah, I agree. I felt like Sinclair should have played for Odin because at the beginning tournament when we showed our retained players, for me you cannot have Chemo, Shepherd, and Odin on the same team because all of them basically doing the same thing, right? All of them is all-rounders. Well, Chemo is more of a batting all-rounder now due to injuries, but previous seasons, all of them were bowling all-rounders. And for me, you need specialists more than all-rounders in your team. Look at Pretorius. Pretorius is a specialist. Specialist seamer, right? So I feel like next year, when we go into the draft, we cannot retain all 3 of those guys. One of those guys have to go. And the one guy that has to go is Odin. And we should probably, maybe if we buy Sinclair again, we should give Sinclair the start. But it's just
but what's the reasons to it? Like, I don't understand why Sinclair hasn't been starting more games. I mean, this is a player who has played at the international level. So, and he's been performing well at that level. So why isn't he getting a start? Like, why is it so hard for him to play a game?
I guess they're getting caught up with the numbers. And
they don't want to have 3 spinners in the squad, maybe.
They're getting caught up with that. As I said, they're getting caught up with the numbers. And as you know, it's not that 3 spinners, it's that Kevin Sinclair is just an off spinner. Maybe if they had like Walker, Salam Kelly, he would have started all the games because he's a Chinaman, you know? And I feel it's because Kevin Sinclair is an off spinner, and the numbers for off spinners in T20 is not necessarily the best, right? And I feel sometime in cricket, as fans we do it, and especially the cricket purists and the cricket analysts they do it as well. We get caught up too much with off spinner can't bowl to right arm batsman and left hand spinner can't bowl to left arm batsman. We get caught up too much in that nonsense. And I feel like that's what happened with Sinclair early in the season. And And usually in CPL, when you look at it, if you don't play early season, you usually don't play late in the season when the team finalizes.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
change up your formula.
True.
Yeah, so I feel bad for Sinclair. And as you remember last year, Sinclair wasn't even bad. Sinclair was bad when St. Kitts came to Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
He only played on the
Yep.
Guyana leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I feel like Sinclair
And he performed well. I thought
performed
he
really
was
well.
one of St. Kitts' best bowlers.
Sinclair is underutilized for me
Yeah.
as a player overall.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But yeah, well, we said everything we want to say about this match.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Ron, anything else?
Actually, I said that we get caught up too much with the whole left hand to right hand and these kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, a good bowler will be able to overcome any kind of style, efficiency, or any kind of style. I think we need to trust our bowlers, especially one experience, and even sometimes you need to trust the youngsters, them defend and see the stars in the game.
But do you guys think that the lack of trust in the youngsters is coming from the lack of quality young players in the region? Because in the IPL,
Yeah.
you could throw a youngster into open batting and he probably make a 50 in the first match. Could we say right now, positively, we could throw any Caribbean youngster into CPL and he makes a 50 on debut?
Maybe not, but at the end of the day, I think we should do it more often, especially in the earliest stages of the game, because at the end of the day, this tournament is also to develop talent for the West Indies, right? For the international level. So even if they aren't of that quality, maybe just throw them into the fire, let them learn. I think that's the best way for a lot of them to learn, and maybe they surprise you.
Yeah. I think at the beginning of the season, Jamaica did it with Kirk McKenzie, but ultimately it didn't work out, so they dropped him.
Yeah, and I think you could always do that in later stages of the game. Like if it doesn't work out, you could just say, "All right, good job, have a seat now, that's it." But I think we should do it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The next topic we like in general comments on tournament, including quality, the broad, the term in terms of how many people should off you in what's your
Well, as for the quality of broadcast, I would say the quality of broadcast in CPL has always been high. It's been a good level of broadcasting. The only broadcasting flaw I could think of is early in the season. I can't remember who was playing. I believe it was a match at St. Kitts where we didn't have the
The
scoreboard.
scoreboard.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
other than that, I feel like the broadcasting, the commentary levels, well, all right, the commentary levels
the commentary.
well, we don't know the Dannies and the Ian Bishops and the Gangers. They will give you a certain level of quality of commentary, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like Alex Jordan, as for now, is not the best commentator. If you're gonna be honest with ourselves, all Alex Jordan does is oh wow, and
I think she's better with the people. To be honest, you like
Yeah.
going out into the
Interviewing.
crowd, interacting with the fans, and I think that's what Naomi Campbell, I believe her name is, does as well. I think they do that very well. The interaction with the fans, including the fans in the games, things like that.
yeah. I feel like I don't want to say Alex Jordan should stick to interacting with the fans, but she should definitely work
Yeah.
on our commentary in her spare time. But
Mm-hmm.
commentator that I really like is
Nikhil.
Nikhil Chan.
Yeah, I agree. He's been very good.
He's good.
Uttam Chandani, I think. Yeah.
The first time I heard Nikhil commentate was in minor league cricket in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikhil has prior experiences, but in smaller competitions, and I like how worked his way up the ladder, and now we see
Yeah.
very probably be international cricket soon. I like that for him. But as for the quality of the broadcast, the commentary, there's my opinions there are Wells. For me, the schedule in the tournament has been poor.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have too much days between matches, which
Mm.
is which I could understand because this has been the first time since 2019 that the tournament has actually traveled that much, right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I
Not
feel
only
like
that, but I feel like they put the tournament during a time where there's a lot of international competitions going on, like the Asia Cup, for example. I think there was various tours with South Africa, New Zealand,
yeah.
and all these other countries. So we can't get the best players from those teams, and these are some of the best teams in at the international level, and they have some of the best players in the world. So we're not getting those kind of players.
For example, look at St. Kitts. St. Kitts had Doa Brevis,
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Stubbs, and I believe Barbados had what is guy name. This hard hitting batsman from South Africa. I believe if Tristan Stubbs and Brevis didn't leave St. Kitts would be in the finals right now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well,
but
And
that
I believe, and if we had
no.
Gurbaz, we wouldn't have this problem, this opening dilemma.
opening issue as well, correct. But I believe that's gonna always be an issue for CPL because this is the
Mm-hmm.
time CPL being played and this is a World Cup year after all. So
Exactly.
most players don't go for their country rather than the money. So it is that can always happen because it's the same thing for BBL as well. BBL is around Christmas time and New Year. So BBL right now they really got the best foreign players, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an issue that I feel gonna happen till the end of CPL or till the end of the time or whatever.
But
Yeah.
wouldn't it, if the goal is young T20, right? Wouldn't it be difficult to develop those players if they're not of world cricketers, the best in the
Mm-hmm.
world?
Yeah.
Well, I believe the CPL, while it's there to develop, I think it's just to introduce the talent to the world. So
Mm-hmm.
say now you go and do well in the CPL, it's up to you now as a player because the board can only do so much for you. It's up to you now as a player with your intent to secure other opportunities around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel maybe the Sri Lanka T20 League probably has to play later down in the year. You know, if you perform well in CPL, your agent could get you a gig there. You perform
Mm-hmm.
well there, you go to PSL. You perform well there, you go to BBL. And at the end of the day, every T20 person, every T20 franchise player aim is to make the IPL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. You still have to do things for yourself because it's only certain
Mm-hmm.
amount the board could do for you. That's my opinion on that. I don't think it's so. I don't think it's necessarily to the competition not necessarily to increase players' ability. It's just to introduce them to the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I take it as.
Yeah.
So,
Because yeah,
yeah,
there. Good. Because franchise at the end of the day is a money making thing more than a talent
mm,
developing venture.
Mm-hmm.
So they more study about the money than actually developing talent. So I feel like if you would want a tournament strictly for developing talent, we would have to do something like what Stanford did with the T20 competition, Caribbean Islands
Mm-hmm.
only. We would have
Yeah.
to along with the CPL. We're not stopping the CPL. Maybe early in the year, we would play that Caribbean T20 tournament, and that would make it even easier for the team selectors for CPL to draft local players.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
any comments on the women's season?
I'm not gonna even lie to you guys. I did not watch a single match.
I I only watched like I think part of one. I really don't have enough information to say, to be honest.
Okay, but how do y'all feel about the three teams? Like, is it really a tournament or is that more a series?
Yeah, it's effectively a franchise try series, but I guess
Yeah,
that comes
I don't.
back to the money thing again. Maybe they
Mhm.
don't have investors willing to put enough money
Yeah.
into farm another team, and that's very unfortunate for the cricket.
Is Republic Bank only sponsored like mass
Mhm.
stores sponsor the women's. So it's where if Republic Bank and other stakeholders were so turn out that way. However, in all fairness, I women's IP, and so at least in department.
Mhm. Yeah.
In relation
Yeah, man.
to the quality of grounds and so far the enough for batsmen, bowlers,
Um,
then produce the most entertaining.
I would. I don't know.
Guyana, to be honest.
Ghana.
Well, apart, I think the game where Royals chased down, I think over 200. I think that was in Trinidad, right? Where
Yeah,
Cornwall had 100.
220.
Yeah. So I think that
Goptil. I think with the same match, Goptil they had 100 as well
on that same day, I think.
on the same day. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. But the game where Cornwall chased down 200, it was against Saint Kitts.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
probably same day or the day
Rutherford
before. Right.
I think it was the
that
same
game.
day. So maybe if you factor that in, maybe the most entertaining matches, like the most entertaining match, definitely was in Trinidad.
But then
I mean,
Guyana, 200 was scoring in Guyana.
Yeah, but yeah, Hope's 100 in Guyana. Like I think, given the fact that with the home fans as well, maybe you could say Guyana had a few of the most interesting matches. But I think in Trinidad they had Guptill getting 100. I think Puran getting 100.
Yeah,
Cornwall getting
Cornwall
100.
100. Yeah, 300s. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say I could
We
say
talking about in terms of entertainment, the games themselves, or like the atmosphere and everything.
really be able to see the atmosphere of a sure.
True. True.
Then Trinidad and Guyana would obviously be
Because I'd be
biggest.
biased if you ask me the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But we
Well,
talk about in terms of the ground, the
I
ground
think that was
staff.
for it
Oh,
because that's I remember it's St. Kitts or was it St. Lucia? It might have been where 4 games rained out. I remember
Mhm.
if it played at Providence, it probably
yeah, would have played. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
man's right.
True.
so stuff like that, But
Yeah, but at the end, that's not really the ground staff issue of the ground and draining the fast because they could only do so much. They have to take down
that's
for the people
design. Yeah.
that the ground is designed. Yeah, so they really can't do anything. But in terms of the ground staff, I feel like we know that Trinidad and Guyana gonna probably have the best grounds in terms of quality and
Mhm.
facilities.
Yeah.
But I felt like the Trinidad pitch was more conducive to T20 cricket than the
Mhm.
pitches
Yeah.
that Guyana produced this year.
Mhm.
But
Fair.
still
Yeah.
saying that 200s was scoring in Guyana, so it clearly wasn't poor pitches they were
Mhm.
getting. It was just maybe more difficult to bat on. But I would say
Mhm.
Trinidad
It
had
just needs to apply itself.
yeah, I would say Trinidad had the best T20 pitches, and Guyana produced more of ODI test pitches.
Mhm. That's fair.
For me, the only negative is what we mentioned before, comparing has been in terms of decisions that were either that were not out or umpires call decisions here. There were just some decisions. But I to the how we train umpires in the region or if that's what can be that improves as we go on. But if we go into discussing or uh, who you think is the rise star that put them in CPL?
This outstanding players thing is basically MVP.
Yeah, you get 3 MVPs, so that way you could mix up. You could do a bowler, three
The
bowlers.
three players that you think stood out the most.
Yeah,
Well, nobody from St. Kitts. St. Kitts was poor. We have to say that. Check. You could go ahead, Chris.
All right. Well, for my players, all right. Listen, right. I'm going to be biased, just so y'all know, because I think I'm looking for like the amount of games played. That's one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at the performances basically. Now, the reason why I didn't include any of the Trinidadian players is because I think that rest game affected. I think Puran definitely could have scored runs in that Guyana game,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't play. So I'll have to go with Hope. I'll have to go with the ball. I'll say Pretorius because I think he's been crucial for us in the power play. And the next player I wanted to include an all rounder actually, and he hasn't had a good tournament, but I think for like uh, the first playoff especially, he's been good, and I think his fielding in the game last night actually helped Jamaica a lot. So he's probably not a standout player this season, but this players who I'm impressed with, who I've been impressed with, I'll have to go with Allen.
All right. You go next. All right. Well, for me, obviously the leading run scorer Shai Hope has to be there. The best batsman so far in the tournament. Uh, the second pick don't be an all-rounder, or at least he's playing as an all-rounder for Jamaica. This might become as a surprise, but Imad Wazim. Imad Wazim was the team.
Right.
He was the team's leading run scorer, and he was the team's third leading wicket taker.
I actually forgot about him. Actually,
He
fair enough.
he has one of the best economies in the entire tournament, 7.17. And as for the bowler, I'll probably have to go with Pretorius for my last spot there. Pretorius, I don't think I have to say anything about Pretorius. He bowled really well this season. Yeah, so that's it for me.
Well, actually, I specifically because I didn't that like in years past, people like Narayan really stood up as wicket taker. Wicket takers list, the economy rates are not good. So
True.
As the stand player, because he scored currently after matches 449 at an average 9 and a strike rate of 4 is ridiculous. I went with is technically an it did not, games as bold that many deliveries was, and I went with Keith. A part of me want to keep, but privately, when I saw him like that, he was really, really coming into his own batsman, and I still are here. And I think this year was exceptional. He's the reason we won a lot early. My third player is Nicholas Puran because in this tournament, I mean, he's out 159. He said this tournament to me was the best innings because like every ball was past the boundary. At top of at no point during his innings, like if he was like he looked invincible when he was out. But I included an additional for me, as in pre was not already established as a T20 cricketer, but then some tie, which would be a tie between because Hope additionally more as known as a one test, not in the test league. But this previous Indian would be a T20 player. But Ayu have a lot of international experience, but it is making our bowlers in the look very ordinary.
And I think
That's
we
the
should enjoy him for as much as we can because I don't know if he might be too big for the CPL next year. Hopefully
Probably.
not, but
yep. Big
Same thing Baba did.
Mhm.
yeah, yep. And he never back. So who would y'all have rising star player who improved?
Okay.
Ayub. I would say Ayub.
Okay, what we say rising star. I see
Mhm.
If
we
you
have
mean in the
here.
region or you mean
Okay.
like in the region or just
Or
players in
any
the tournament?
import? Yeah,
I think
Well,
this guy
I
from
can do
St.
one.
Lucia Ford has been good.
Yes, that would be my indie region pick, my local player pick.
Ford.
That would be
Yeah.
Ford because what he did in those first couple matches, swinging the ball, he
Mhm.
was bowling really
Mhm.
well. He was bowling, yeah. He and he. I think he's an under 23 player as well, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
yep,
Yeah. So I feel he did really well. Also this guy from Jamaica, the slinger, Salman Urshad.
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really know. Honestly, I didn't know who Salman Urshad was before he came to the CPL.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I know who Ayub was because Ayub did really well in PSL.
And in Pakistan, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't know who Salman Urshad was. So that would be my picks.
Mhm.
Also, a special shout out should go to a player who something that not only in sports but in life in general. If you're given an opportunity, and that's Casey Carter came in and
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
brilliant innings, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful cricketing shots. All well, and I actually think that Casey Carter is a player that well he should really stand in that same on 19 World Cup with Guyana,
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
but he never really got the same chance as them, and I think
Mhm.
showing his ability this time around, and that to be a batsman in a similar class, if not as good as the of West Indies currently.
But he currently averages 34 in ODI cricket. So he
Yeah,
isn't that
yeah.
he isn't that bad.
But I feel like he never plays 5 games in a season,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
that makes sense.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plays one game, done, they switch him out for some squad
Mhm.
because is where in which he's from is known for producing that many cricketers maybe cause but I think he's been very good. For the comments, talk.
Mhm.
But what you guys think? Who's the best on 21 player for y'all? On the 23 player, sorry, for y'all this season.
Hmm.
In the region you're talking about,
Yeah, in the region.
I think Ford has been it for me. Like
Mhm.
he's the one standing
Yeah,
out.
it's definitely Ford. In Anderson for his game in this player that you would
Mhm.
say, yeah, really shot the blocks. There's this guy who's 23, but he's young for Barbados, I believe.
Who,
Uh,
Clark,
uh, I can't remember if it's Clark.
the keeper,
Last game that they played, no,
was Clark.
it's Seaman. He
Seaman?
was pretty but
Um, I forgot his name.
Let me check. Let me check. From Barbados.
yeah, I believe it's the
Creed.
pardon me.
Oh, Akeem Jordan.
Oh, let me check really quick.
Naim Yo?
Was the last against us?
Yeah. Which I open 100.
I'm not even sure. It could be Jordan. But if it is not really a young player, but it's not just a player is now probably true. But
I think it's probably Jordan.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like there are a few players who played after the 13 stages. The 94.
Terrence Clark.
Terrence Hines.
Hearing Clark. I don't know where I got Clark from.
Yeah, he also had the opportunity. Players that you would have out for like they fought for the world. They're definitely players who are putting themselves in the conversation, even if they're not selected. They're in the conversation. But we could go on to analysis and so I think going to be for years come. Not who you would prefer, but we all think they're going to select as the opening because I'm pretty sure everybody else is going to play. The only change that could happen is probably opening.
I feel if Kimo is fit, you sub Kimo in for Odin, but given the pattern that I've been seeing, I don't think Odin will be dropped. I think they'll more than likely either switch Beaton in for Kimo or maybe Anderson, one out of the two. And I think that's what we'll go with.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. It's just one possible change. Other than that, the team stays the exact same.
Yeah. That they're going to do in terms of having as up.
Well, I have no problem with that. And once the umpires don't
I have no problem with that. Yeah, I have no problem with it because
it's possible if we bat first. I believe that you would have to be on first if you bowl it first in order to bat or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it only was bat first this day that you could have always said he suffered an injury.
Yeah.
But saying crazy type of player that could potentially in the field are so an interesting conundrum, but then so and get 50 consistent as he was last, but his games he seems to be very good in Guyana. To the Knight Riders, their squad is deeper than ours in terms of quality players that could we could Dwayne Bravo, who probably West Indies' most prominent players, played this tournament, have arrested him essentially for this knockout stage. So in their opening lineup, Gup is healthy and Bravo is healthy.
I think if Gupton is healthy, Mark Dial gets dropped and Walton and Guptill opens. Who ran 3, Casey Carty 4, Pollard 5.
Yep.
And then
Russell 6.
Russell, Narain, whoever, Terrence Hines, Akil Hussein, whoever. Me personally, I don't think Bravo starts in this team.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think Terrence Hines plays in front of Bravo.
Okay. Do you think there's?
I think they may opt to go for some experience in the final, to be honest. But I actually agree. I think their best 11 right now, maybe Terrence Hines ahead of Bravo. But I think Pollard may opt for that experience.
Do y'all see any possibility of them back at the top?
No.
No. I think they
do
have
to
enough openers to just to not try that experiment, to be honest.
How so you think them not playing Bravo would affect them in that whereas like the 17 to 18?
Hmm,
I mean, they did well so far without Bravo in the team, anyways.
exactly.
Yeah. So um prediction, given the two teams, the fact that the Warriors just lost the Knight Riders
Mhm.
two,
All right.
who
First of all,
the edge to?
listen, I'll give the edge to the home team any day. Doesn't matter what history says. And I'll
Mm.
be biased, but Warriors is my team, and that's what I'll pick any day.
No, no. For me, I have to go the Amazon Warriors. Well,
I think everybody here would go to
go the
Warriors, to be
Warriors.
honest.
We bias on this podcast.
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah, facts.
But yeah, I believe
Yeah.
if we win the toss, we win.
Yeah.
If we win the
Mhm.
toss, we win the match. If we lose the toss, we probably lose the match.
Possibly.
There's any possibility, right? Toss. Even Florida's experience actually made where to both first.
Mm,
I don't think Poland
I,
makes.
I, 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 I don't think he would, to be honest. I think he's been around long enough, and he'll make the decision that he thinks is right for his team.
Yeah, I think Poland is the most experienced man in T20 cricket, so I don't think
Mhm.
he would do that. And his backroom staff is very experienced as well. So
Mhm.
True,
All right, so who
true.
do you guys have getting the most runs in this game? Like predictions for that?
I have Shea Hope. I have Shea
Yeah.
Hope top scoring for Guyana.
Mhm.
I'm probably Puran top scoring for Trinidad. And I have Moti. Moti for me gonna be the difference maker. So I have
Mhm.
Moti taking about 3 wickets. And
Mhm.
on TK I have Walker and Salam Kelly taking about 3 wickets as well.
Mm. Fair.
I have a controversy. I think this will, which we see performance, and it might not
Yes, I agree.
be the
But
the
I
highest
still think Shea top
on the day.
scores.
I believe this might
Yeah.
gives us that
Mhm.
acceleration near the
Yeah.
end because I it's about time. I agree with Stuart that Moti is, and I would say that will also be key. Like if we could get 2 or 3 power play, but our bowling second, I
Mhm.
have the game. If we could get Pollard and Russell back 7 to 8, I think we have the game.
But why gonna think
Definitely.
why think gonna happen is if early wickets fall, Akil Hussein and Terence Hines be sent up the other night to protect Pollard and Russell.
Yeah, their batting lineup is very deep.
Deep.
But I think if we get those early wickets in the power play, especially, I think it puts pressure on them. And these batsmen, I don't really trust them to go to bat to an entire innings. To be honest, I think they may come in, get a few big scores, but I don't think they'll last very long at the crease.
Thing though, I hope that Bravo play. Short point, I believe one of PTR shifts the Naki Hussein, who's a very batsman, very underrated with the bat. But I do believe if a player like Bravo is in the 11, he's a player who exploit if he comes to the, in the sense that get him out necessary, because I believe that theory is probably 7 8. It's a case where if he's in the team and he's playing around up and he comes in around number 6, number 5, number 7, that's actually a plus for us. But indeed, I believe both teams back the lineups in up to maybe 9, 10. But in the case of Guyana, we need maybe enough. I think we're off. Once we're batting first, I think about 90 plus. The lineup is deep. Hitters are big hitters than us. So if it's a
like you said,
we need
the
bat for speed. If they're first, we need to get early wickets. If we bat the first, we need to get a big score.
Yeah, like you said, I think I'm not really putting too much faith on the toss because that can go either way. But if we have 2 players going for big scores, maybe even 3, hopefully. But if we have at least 2 players getting big scores and we get early wickets, then I think this game should be ours. But you could say the same for them. If they get big score, 2 players scoring big and they get early wickets, it could easily go just as well for them.
Yeah. I actually for this game because I do believe the 2 best. I think this is CPL in probably where you could say definitively that the 2 best teams in the tournament in terms of performances are in
the final.
Whoever wins, you could say the best team. And I mean, by injuries, I mean we don't know the still and Ryan's injuries far along. Paul is in terms of recovery, but groin strains are the case where even the injuries are somewhat equal, you could say. Actually, but I feel like one thing we haven't discussed the rank, because if you recall,
but
the rank, so when he was spit
that was prime Sulu right.
So these flat pitches in Guyana, hopefully he doesn't find back. He had
Lorraine is still, I think, one of the most dangerous players in T20. He may not be in his prime anymore, but he's still very dangerous regardless.
Smart coach batting against them. I think we need to take risks early on.
Especially in the power play. We need to attack the power play. We can't afford to not attack the power play this time around.
In the event that opens, Smith needs to be the one that 3 times he opened with that's one.
Yeah. That's what I found as well.
If you out, it does not matter. You hope come.
Agreed. 100%.
Come and throw caution to with to complete. It might let them come just back freely when needed. Settle into the game and play strokes. If that, then we're really shit because we can't have third something runs off of it. Even 50 first 6 not sufficient. We're going at least 10 in the first 6 in our defendable score. Now in the first score yet.
Mhm.
Comments from you guys?
No, I think we covered everything. I don't know if Stuart has anything left.
No, I don't have anything else to say. Just good luck, Guyana, and I'll be there watching Sunday.
Same
Yep.
in the
Look.
months.
Here, and it was a pleasure having Stuart. Hopefully,
Yeah, man.
hope
Good having you. Hopefully, we can have you in the
soon
future.
we'll be seeing
Yeah,
him
hopefully I'll be back.
as well. And that luck and
Definitely.
sign on and special guest Stuart. It was a good one.
We out later.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Man. Não tá cabendo. E microphone não é tudo. Olha, não tem que ter o cara, não.